Well, hello guys, and welcome back. Well, it's Microscope review time again. And I know we just did one not too long ago, but hey, as long as these folks, my Amazon suppliers, want to keep sending stuff, we'll keep doing reviews on it. I have no problem with that. Plus, y'all guys get a discount. But this is the, I know I butchered this name up. They come up with some strange names on these, but Elikliv, something like that. But it's the ISP digital microscope, and this is model EDM602. So we're just going to call it the 602. And to verify what this is, yep, EDM602. And this is the one with the bigger screen. We did the Andestar not too long ago, and it's a decent microscope. I had no problems at all with it. This one has a bigger screen, so we'll find out what the pros and cons are on this one and compare it up against the Andestar. Also, I'm not going to do an unboxing and putting it together. I'll save y'all the boredom of all that. If you've seen one unbox, you've seen them all. Although I have not seen this model on YouTube yet, the 602. So we'll just go ahead and skip right on to, I'll get the thing put together and we'll bring you right back. And wow, there it is, guys. I will tell you, I'm about 3 foot away from it, and it's hard to get the whole thing in the shot at one time. But you can basically see this is what we got. We have a huge 10-inch screen. There's our microscope, our base, and our two lights, just kind of like the Andestar was. I think they all base them off the same thing. One thing on this one, we'll turn it around. You can see how the back of it made. We have a rack and pinion. The Andestar had a mount that came out that had a short rack and pinion on it. This one has a full rack and pinion. It also has a tiltable mass column here. But you can loosen this up, and then you can bring it all the way down until it touches the bottom. So let's see what all came with this thing. Alright guys, so here's all the accessories that came with it. We have our power cable with the on-off switch. Have an HDMI cable, comes with a small Phillips screwdriver. This is a mini USB to USB, regular USB. Have a USB to AC. And some hardware for mounting stuff down on the board. Comes with a couple of extra thumb screws, and these hold the lenses onto the bottom of the microscope, as you can see right here on each side. And I've already put the what's called the L lens on there. And this lens, this is the standard lens you'll probably be using for doing electronics. It's a object distance is from 90 millimeters to 300 millimeters. So you got a good range on that. Okay, we got a remote control. This is another mount for holding glass slides, and you can see there's a light in there, and you got a port right here to plug power into. So this is when you want to look at using it as a true scientific microscope to look at insects or whatever you want to. And this box contains several slides of various insect parts, some it's like parts of trees and so forth that's been put on the slides. And in this box is the other two lenses that come with it. We have the A lens, and it's from 12 millimeters to 320 millimeters. And you have the D lens, and this is for a range of 4 to 5 millimeters. This is what you would use to look at the stuff on the slides with. Also comes with a standard USB to mini USB adapter. Depends on what you can plug it into. If you plug it into a computer, you'll have a adapter for doing that. So quite a bit of goodies in that. To change the lens, we can flip the monitor up. You just remove these 2 thumb screws. Make sure you do it one at a time, or the lens will fall and hit the metal plate. That won't roll away. And this is basically what the L lens that we would use for electronics look like. And you can see the mounting screws into it, and there's your very small lens. There's no light in this, although it looks like you could probably clip something onto it. But the first thing I see, no threads. So you know, like the Andestar, I purchased a macro lens to go with it, to screw on it, and that gives you a bigger field of view. This doesn't have that option. Now if they have another lens that has that option, I'm not sure. We'll have to check on that and see. But just to put it back on, you know, just stick it in there and screw these thumb screws back in, and that's how you would change out the lenses. Now you can see the mounts up here at the top of the microscope. Under like the Andestar, you know, we mounted it down at the bottom. You see our focus ring is mounted here, so that's pretty easy to get to. So just like the rest of them, you know, we got our 2 lights where you can put it where you want to. The stand just screws into this base. This base is adjustable, so you can tilt it. You can see our rack and pinion system here to move this up and down. So looking at the back of the monitor, you can see our HDMI slot. That's a mini USB. This is a power port where we would plug in the power cable, and that's the SD card slot. Now this thing came with a 64 gigabyte SD card already installed. That was a little surprising that they done that. You just push it in and it unlocks, and you get a little 64 gigabyte SD card. Just sit it back in the slot, push it down till it locks, and it's in there. So to apply power cord, and it's basically the same as the Andestar was. You got this little right angle connector that's going to plug right into there, and then for the lighting system you got a little barrel connector, and that's just going to simply plug right into the bottom here for our lighting system. Also, this plugs into the side of this little stand to illuminate that light for looking at slides. So from there we take our USB cable and plug it into our AC adapter. Okay, I have the power connected. We'll go here on the switch, press the power on button. We'll see our 2 little lights come on, and there's our screen booting up. And you see it's kind of dark. We'll grab another circuit board, stick under there, just to focus a little bit, and there you go. Now, as I was saying earlier, looking at the there's a footprint of a surface mount capacitor, and you see it's just about got the screen full. And on this is also was a footprint from a flat pack package that was on here, and we put that under there. You can't see all of it at one time. That's where the macro lens rules at. You're able to use a macro lens to expand this field of view, and that way you can see more of what you're working on at a time. Now this is okay, you know. That is something that could be better. Now see this smaller flat pack footprint, you can see it. Well, it's got a pretty decent display on it. It shows up real well. I ain't even got the lights pointing down on it that good. There you go. That's with the lights pointing down on it. You see that 35 volt capacitor there, and a little orange diode beside it. And if you see these little small capacitors here, they are basically microscopic. That's how small they are. And see, there's some more that's even a little bit smaller right here. Very tiny components, hard to see with the eye. And I forgot to mention, yes, it does come with a user manual. It has a lot of different information in it. And reading through it, it's interpreted very well. You know, you get a lot of this stuff is in what they call Chinglish, but this is not bad at all. I see no problems in reading the manual, and it shows you just about everything you need to know about it. And I was doing some reading here earlier, and there was one thing that caught my attention that's going to go into one of the cons on this thing. And it's talking about you know, running it through a computer and so forth. And the way I understand, when you hook this to a computer or to a separate monitor, this screen goes black and it lights up the other screen. Now the Andestar, you'll get to see both screens. So if I'm doing a YouTube video and I'm working on something and I switch this over to HDMI output so that y'all can see it, and you know, using OBS Studio, I'll have to look at the computer monitor because this monitor will go dark. So yeah, that's one of the cons about it, but you know, I don't know if there's a way to change that. I don't see nothing in the manual, but we'll demonstrate that in a bit. Okay, so I got both microscopes up here, and we're looking at the same thing, a penny on each one of them. And you can see on the 10-inch screen, you know, the penny is completely filling the screen up. You can't see the whole object at one time. Now with the Andestar, using the macro lens, you can see, I can see the whole penny. And if I wanted to zoom in on it, you know, I can go up here and zoom right on in. And then back to standard. And you can do the same thing with this one. Alright, so times 18. And that's back down to standard. So yeah, you can see that it's going to be a lot of difference using this one without a macro on it. Let's say I need to check and see if they do make a macro lens for it, but that is one of the cons on this particular unit over the Andestar. And I'm not saying which one's best, you know, the better of the two. They both seem to be pretty decent units. Well, I got a HDMI cable here prepared. I got it running into the cam link on the computer and into a USB. So we're going to plug the other end in. That's what I was telling you earlier. When you plug into the HDMI, this picture goes blank. I'll bring up OBS Studio. That's the easiest thing to look at this with. So you can see it right up there on OBS Studio. You know, you have the same image, but you can't have both images at one time. And you know, that is a con. That's something that needs to be changed on this unit so you can see both screens at one time. And this is also going to do the same thing if I plug it into a monitor. It's going to shut down the LCD display and display it on the monitor. Okay, so again I got the HDMI cable hooked up to the star and to the computer. You can see the screen on that is displaying the image, and also you have an image showing on the computer, so you can see both images at the same time. And like I say, that helps if I'm doing a YouTube video. You know, we have to look at this screen while we're working on something. With the 10-inch screen, you know, I have to look at the computer screen probably through OBS Studio while I'm, you know, doing the video, and that can be a little annoying because these computer screens are over here on the left side, and when you're working you like to look straight in on what you're working at, like here, you know. So yeah, that's a room for improvement. But you know, one thing I do like about the Elikliv is that it comes with this other power source. See, it's got the right angle connector and USB, so you can turn this around. Let me cut it off. I'll unplug the power from the AC supply and we'll plug in the other one. And then we're just going to plug this directly into the USB port on the computer. And you can see it's booting up. We'll go down to PC camera, hit OK. No screen. So you can see the screen goes black again even in this mode. So now in OBS Studio, instead of selecting Cam Link, I'll go here to Video Capture 2 and turn it on. And that's all image. And you can see that's live. And what I did was just, you know, the AC is still plugged into the light, so I turned that on. Now, here's a pro on that. With using this cable, you can plug directly into your computer without having to have any external supply, because it powers the camera from your computer that you plugged in through the 5-volt rail. So that makes it a little bit portable with a laptop if you need to carry it somewhere to look at something. So yeah, that's one, you know, a good feature about this. So looking here directly at the manual, you can see it shows the lens, the type, field of view, magnification, the object distance, the working distance, and the application. Well guys, I'm quite pleased with the EDM602. Let's say, beautiful display, no problem at all with that, and it shows your image very well when you're looking at either HDMI or through the USB link or looking at the display itself. No problems at all. Like I say, the only two cons that I see about this is the display going blank when you go USB to computer or HDMI to computer or monitor, and no way to attach a macro lens on it. Other than that, looks like a wonderful piece of equipment, and I think it's going to come in pretty handy. Now, I do want to contact the company and see if there's a software upgrade that can change the way the monitor cuts off and on through HDMI. If that can be rendered, this would be an excellent piece of equipment, especially for doing micro soldering. If you're changing out, little components, even the field of view of 21.5 millimeters, is no problem doing that. It's when you start changing out like connectors for flat ribbon cables, flat pack packages. It would be a little bit harder to do looking at the screen, because you won't be able to see the whole object that you're looking at. So we're looking here on this slide. You can see a very tiny ant, and in the screen it looks completely big, but that is the ant on one of the slides that is provided. Let me see if I can focus a little better. There we go. I got the microscope about 10 millimeters away from the slide, but this one is made to go down to about 4 to 5 millimeters from the slide. I just wanted to get more in the field of view here so you can see more. Okay, so if I'm going in here and to remove something, I'm going to try this by looking at the screen to my left instead of looking at the screen that's directly in front of me. It's a little bit awkward. Okay, I'll remove the resistor. Now I'm going to go up under it and remove that little capacitor here. And those are microscopic components. Okay, so we're looking here at the website, and I'll leave a link down below to the video, and you can see this thing is roughly $249. It's 10.1 inch screen, and you see here it says come with 3 lenses, 10.1 inch screen, one microscope, 2160p, 24 MP soldering microscope, and biological microscope kit. It's 1500. Coin magnification with light. TV, Windows, Mac compatible. And you can see here about this item, but I'll leave the link down below in the description box just below the video. Okay guys, so something I didn't try was the aliens. I told you that's the one that's for looking at stones and coins and stamps or whatever. It actually has a better field of view than the aliens has. I'll zoom in on this a little better. Let's see, looking at that flat pack footprint, you can see the whole thing on it at one time now, other than what you couldn't see before. And if you're under here working with some tweezers, you know, that would be no problem to remove these little tiny components like this. Now you still can zoom in if you need to. Just by using the zoom button. So yeah, you can bring an image right on in case it's something small. So yeah, that surprised me when I decided just to try that lens and see what it does. And with that being like that, I'll give this 4.5 stars out of 5. That's a big improvement of what we were seeing earlier. Maybe there's a way to get to display on both monitors when you're going HDMI. I've been completely through the menus and I saw nothing in it. So maybe there's, like I said, maybe there's a software upgrade. But to get a 5, that's what it needs, is to be able to watch both screens at one time. I mean, if you're in an audience and you're teaching micro soldering and you got your HDMI going to a big screen or something that everybody in the class is watching, then you'll need to look at this screen so you can see what you're doing. And if you go HDMI with this the way it is, you would not be able to see what you're doing. And looking at the whatever monitor that everybody else is looking at might not be in your view. Now, if there's a way to split it off and to go into 2, so you can have another monitor here, I'm not sure. I'm not played around with splitting HDMI signals before. So anyway, yeah, that's just something I want to throw in right quick before we end the video. Anyway guys, that's it for now. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, you can always hit that like button. That really helps the channel out. And like I said, link down in the description box to this item if you want to take a look at it and see what your thoughts are. You can read more on about it. And guys, we'll see you in the next video.